Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on BeamNG Drive with 3 more vehicles to take on the Wreckoning to try and survive as long as possible. We start, yes it is with another Miramar, but it is a rather excellent one. This, a hot rod version of the car with, well, very little in the way of front. Quite frankly, the radiator I am worried about, I'll be honest. I'm very worried about the radiator. The speed, however, I am not worried about. There is a lot of power in this car. There is a lot of power indeed. It has some massive wheelies. It is, yeah, not short of the power. It's got the crazy drag tires at the back, so it's going to bounce around like, well, yeah, bounce around from side to side like nobody's business. If we happen to hit bumps awkwardly, I'm going to reset the car because I probably broke something at the front with the wheelie. It's, yeah, not a subtle car, this one. I love it. It's my kind of crazy vehicle. I'm not so sure surviving this course is going to be easy. I don't think it's going to go and match the other Miramars. They're all a little cluster towards the top of the table. I would be very surprised if this made it onto lap 4. That would be quite a showing from the car. The biggest concern is the radiator being so exposed is likely to be lost very, very easily. Probably the first big jump, or just leaving the bridge. That can do it as well. Yeah, that's always an issue. The other big problem is the front wheels. I am concerned about them. They're very, very exposed. While I can do my best, like that, for example, that's actually got relatively well across that jump without twisting and breaking anything in the front wheels. Let's try and clear there as well. Oh, okay, we're doing actually not too bad on protecting the front wheels. You see, in the normal cars, well, I say with the normal cars, it's, let's say, a normal version of the Miramar, you've got a lot more front bumper, you've got front grille, you've got wings and various other bits that will take impact, absorb impact. They'll get bent, they'll get twisted, they might get lost through time, but there'll be something there to absorb some of the impact so it doesn't just go straight through the wheels and through the wheel axles and through the chassis as well. And we could well see wheels bent up and the entire chassis twisted. I don't think the front subframe can break off in this car, but it can get twisted to the point where the car is undrivable. I would imagine relatively easy. Oh, good God, that's another problem. We've got the speed of the car. Oh, and apparently the drive shaft is a little bit on the fragile side. Damn. Yeah, the car is very quick. We were going a little bit too fast. I didn't realise we were going a couple of miles an hour too fast. That being said, that's definitely not the worst crash we've had across there. And drive shaft, a little bit too fragile. Little bit too fragile. I was also going to talk about potential for the engine overheating. Probably would overheat pretty bloody fast once that radiator's gone with the amount of power that the radiator's fallen off underneath us. It looks incredible. Do not get me wrong. This hot rod looks absolutely incredible. But in terms of survivability around the Wreckoning, not your go-to vehicle. Not your go-to vehicle at all. Up next, we have got a car going for a little bit of redemption. The Satsuma is back. Another new version of this one. We've got a pickup truck. Looks pretty damn cool. And this one powered by a rotary engine. New sounds for the rotary engine as well, which is always good to always good to hear something different from the game's kind of standard V8 that ends up makes its way into most cars. So yeah, good to have more engine sounds around. The Satsumas have not tended to fare very well, I'll be honest, around the around the Wreckoning. The two that have run previously have both gone out with steering failure before getting onto the second lap. So let's hope that this can do better. It hasn't got the crazy rotary engine, it's not got the drag car engine in it, but it should have a decent amount of power to make it across these jumps, at least to survive the opening lap. Oh, the steering's already twisted slightly. That's not what you want to be dealing with right now. It doesn't look twisted. It's peculiar. I'm not touching the steering at the moment on the way into that corner. It looks a little bit weird. Okay, it's not the worst thing that could have happened to the truck. I can deal with that. We're going to make our way across there. We're fine-ish. We're fine-ish. It's actually quite an oversteery. I think it's quite a naturally oversteery vehicle. The slight steering issues make it a little bit worse. That's a concern. Oversteer is not a trait that you want in a car around here, especially not potentially slightly unpredictable oversteer, because you'll be going up to one of the big jumps where you need to get up some speed. I mean, this has clearly got the speed to make it across them, but you have a sudden snap oversteer moment, you've got to lift off, you've got to try and correct the vehicle. and that's going to cause you problems as you approach these jumps. Oh, please be enough. Oh, it's just enough. It's just enough to make it across. Now, the good news in all of that is that we didn't actually hit the front of the truck. That was more damage to the rear. I'm okay with that. If it wants to land upside down, I think that's probably preferable in some ways. I'd rather it land up upside down than land on its side. If we can do that at all times, that would be nice. The pitch is oh god, area of concern here. It's area of concern for everything, especially a vehicle I'm struggling with a little bit of oversteer. Uh-oh. Okay, well, take out the back of the truck. That's fine. Come on, land. Please be okay. Please be okay. Okay, well, we have maybe some chassis issues going on here. No, it's got all of its wheels back on the ground again, which is, well, I say all of its wheels back on the ground. It's got all of its wheels driving and working. The diff isn't playing funny buggers with us, so that's good. The front left is looking decidedly broken. The front left is looking very unhappy. Oh god, the entire front suspension is looking very unhappy at the moment. Okay, we've got to be a tripod. No, don't be a tripod. I need the rear wheels on the ground. I don't care if the front wheels don't roll. That would be a new place to roll. We've never had a car roll through these two banked turns. Now, pothole alley. I think we might have the steering to. Oh god, maybe we'll have the steering to get away. We kind of have the steering to get away with it. It's a little bit on the awkward side here. The control isn't great. That being said, though, it's gonna make it onto a second lap. The first Satsuma to make it onto a second lap is a rotary-powered pickup truck. I'm fine with that as well. I'm perfectly okay with that. It's not a particularly healthy. The diff's actually not too bad in this because it's actually letting me put power down with one wheel wobbling around in the air. That's nice to see. Surprising, perhaps, for such an old car. Ooh, God, if the chassis could have buckled so that the front wheel was up in the air, as I said, I'm okay with that. I'd rather the front wheel up in the air than the rear wheels up in the air. Here we go, towards the big jump for the second time of asking. We might not be going quick enough here. That's problems. That's big problems. Big problems for the Satsuma. Now, we might be able to push our way through this. I don't think we can. I think that's just going to anchor us down. No! It's stuck. We've made a donut. We've made a donut machine. Unintentional. If only that wheel could pop back out again. Can I wiggle it free? I don't think I can. I think we're just going to spin on the spot, aren't we? Yeah, it snapped it back around, and there's nothing that I can do about it. It's just going to sit here and go round in circles. Yeah, that's a that's a broken Satsuma. It made it onto its second lap, though, and that is something to be proud of. Lap 2, and this first jump has claimed many a victim, so it's certainly no shame in crashing out on that one. It was, once again, the steering that failed on it, or specifically the front right wheel, although we had a lot of other issues going on in the car. The crashes that landed upside down did help save the steering, but it buckled the chassis and all sorts of issues with the axles, etc. So, yeah, not quite as tougher a car around here as you might like, but still good fun, and I like the engine. Well, seeing as we've had two fairly crazy cars, why not finish off this episode with another one? Yes, of course, you have always wanted to put a supercharged V8 into the back of a pigeon. Yeah, it's probably not going to survive too long. Although, that being said, part of the reason that the pigeon went out... Oh god, are we going to wheelie? No, we're okay. Part of the reason why the Pigeon 600 went out is it wasn't quite fast enough to make the jump, so it was constantly being crashed into the ground. Pigeons themselves are actually relatively strong, so there is potential that this might be better than the sort of Pigeon 600. We'll be able to accelerate and clear some of the early jumps nicer and maybe save the vehicle from damage. The big concern is the fuel tank. That's what took us out last time. I think it was across the river. Ooh, bad. Really bad. Doubly, triply bad. Accelerate before we fall in the water. So, fuel tank has gone immediately. What is it with the fuel tank in this? I mean, I'd assume it would have a different fuel tank with having the V8. I guess it'll have the V8's fuel tank, potentially, if they can fit it in. Don't really know how it all works. It isn't piddling all the fuel away, so it might be a smaller leak than we had last time around. So, yeah, I mean, last time I think it'd pretty much be out of fuel by now. So, we'll keep on going. The car's on fire. That's a concern, primarily for the rear tyres. when they burst, we're going to have real fun times trying to get traction around these corners, or when the front tyre goes, we'll have real fun times trying to get any turning. Now, we have seen fireballs survive at the Miramar circuit for a great length of time. Oh, has the fire gone out? The fire's gone. Oh, no, now it's back again. Bugger. If we could just roll over periodically and stop our tyres from being set on fire, I don't know if that's cheating, but if it happens to happen accidentally, I'm okay with that. Yeah, we have seen fireballs continue driving for a long amount of time. The actual fire itself won't put the car out. What it will do is take the tyres out, and then that can lead to steering damage and just general lack of control that will probably lead to other crashes and so on. Pigeon, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not there's no stabler vehicles to begin with. I'm not sure with a V8 in the back it particularly helps with the whole control thing. Yeah, the fire doesn't. Oh Christ! It's just bouncing around. I'm trying. I am trying to get some semblance of control in it. It doesn't really. Well, a lot of the time my front wheel is not actually on the ground anymore, and that makes life quite difficult for me. Fire's gone out again and then has come back again. So yeah, every time we roll over, it puts the fire out. I mean, that's quite useful in many ways, in fact. Radiator is proving to be quite tough for this as well. Oh, bloody hell. Trying to get that jump right is proving to be a real bugger with some of these cars. I thought we need, again, Pigeon's very light. I didn't necessarily think about that, because normally we need to go a little bit faster on that jump, but of course Pigeon weighs so little that I can probably get away with less miles an hour to clear that one. That's slightly my stupid. Over there, ooh, we've got suspension issues going on in the rear engine Pigeon. No real worry about the rocks there, as the fuel tank's already gone. The fire has not relit itself. Whoa! What was that, Pigeon? That was a impressive bounce and wheelie. We've already got a couple more corners, and once we're on... Oh, there's a bit of fire, and there's another little bit. I've not had a car do this ever in this series, or in any series, quite frankly. I wanted to spark. So the fuel tank is obviously got a very, very small leak, because we're not piddling away fuel like we did in the last one, because we've now gone further than the Pigeon 600 did. I wonder if the sparks of something rubbing on the floor is what's lighting the fuel tank trail. Possible, I guess, because something's scraping the floor. I'm not actually sure what it is. Something at the front? Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have been something with a slightly dodgy hitbox. Either way, something is sparking away at the front, and I don't know whether that's lighting the fuel trail, or whether it's heat from the engine is periodically lighting the fuel trail, or something. Somebody smarter than me who knows this game more will probably be able to tell you what's causing the periodic fire. But yeah, we've not had that. It's normally once the cars are light, that's it. It will just gradually get worse and worse and worse until the entire car is engulfed in fire. Well, we're on to our second lap. Can we make it the furthest vehicle of the day as we come across this lap 2 car-killing jump? Well, it's going to go for a flip and a roll and a twist. I mean, it's already rolled further. Even if it doesn't start up again over here, it's going to have gone further than the Satsuma pickup truck. But nope, it's still fine. It keeps on going. We've seen this with the Pigeons before. If you don't lose all of your fuel out of them and you don't snap off the front wheel immediately, they are incredibly strong cars. I mean, they survived tumbles, the old downhill chaos circuit. You could fall off the very top of that course, and sometimes you'd lose the front wheel, but the engine and driveline and all of that would tend to survive very, very, very well. Rear wheels on this car are incredibly tough, so it's yeah, mostly focused on that of course single front wheel doing all the steering. Hell, a Pigeon won the the Driven Till Destruction series at the Miramar circuit, so they are, yeah, very, very tough when they've got the speed. I'm thinking this rear-engined one might not quite have the balance, but it's certainly got enough power to propel the car across the jumps, and it is taking an absolute beating and still going. Okay, it's another big roll, but nothing of any importance is harmed in that. The roll, of course, dissipating all of the energy and not going into like a single impact on the front wheel. So it's kind of better to do that. It looks spectacular, it looks terrible, but better to do that than kind of just nosedive and land on the front wheel, or even just land completely flat on the underside of the car. It can be better than that. No, we'll go land on the top. I'm amazed the radiators survived that one. Looks like the bed is going to fall off around the engine before the engine moves. This was the Malak, that engine would have been long gone out of the out of the back. Somehow the chassis is still actually staying in one piece. which is incredible. Like, I say it's taken in one piece. Not many cars have actual breakable chassis, but it's not twisted beyond use, which is quite impressive, considering the issues we were having with the sort of the Satsuma and it wanting to be, I'd say it wanted to be a tripod. I mean, this is a tripod to start with, but could get a lot worse with this car, with bending up the chassis, because it's pretty much crashing on all of the jumps. It's got the speed, but doesn't really have, I don't really have the control in this, and it doesn't really have the suspension either to deal with these jumps, and it's so light, it's always going to get bounced around quite nastily. So yeah, it's the fun and games of the Pigeon, and it wants to roll over at every opportunity. I seem to remember this about the Pigeon 600 at the Baja Rama circuit. Now, we have got some issues with that rear bed starting to come loose. I'm not really sure I can pull that clear. I don't really have a rule in there. If I can get a bit of debris clear, I will. However, you, of course, always run the risk of just pulling important bits apart, and that's kind of it's caught on the engine, really, and I don't know if I pull it if I'm going to break something very, very significant. So for now, it's not actually doing any harm to me. It's not clogging up the wheels, so we'll keep on going. But yeah, it's a concern, something to, well, yeah, something to keep an eye on. Oh, God's sake! Oh, that's everything gone all at once. Yeah, that's... I wasn't quite prepared for just the entire back of the car to disintegrate. I don't know what to put down that failure. We were not having a particularly good run up. The car's bouncing around no end. I was busy... I was busy worrying about the bed getting caught under the wheels and it was bouncing around. I didn't quite get a very good takeoff. It was twisted, and as we hit the landing, it pinged all of the wheels off at the back, took the engine out. I think it took the drive shaft out as well. Just everything went. The front wheel's fine. I say it's fine. It's twisted and it's giving you steering issues. Although the crash does look like it's fixed it somewhat. Made it on its third lap, though. That's a good showing. Not that many vehicles have made it onto a lap 3. That is a very, very good showing indeed. It's a spectacular... Just everything fell off the car. Just all pinged clear of the Pigeon. It's certainly one way to go for this rather crazy contraption. On to the results table, and the best car of the day is the rear-engined Pigeon V8. I wasn't necessarily expecting to say that. However, it moves itself up into a 13th place. It's a very, very good showing from that vehicle. It is pretty much the same place and very, very similar actual depth to the bowline. The bowline rolling a smidge further down the road, but it beats the H25 Vandal, the big heavy-duty off-road van, beats the all-steer Pazima, Burnside police car, D-Series Blazer, and so on. Yeah, to make it onto a third lap is very, very good going. Indeed, a spectacular failure as well for the Pigeon in that one. We do have to go a little bit further down to find the Satsuma pickup truck. It does improve for the Satsuma. It is the furthest Satsuma we've got round this course on that onto its second lap. It is a notoriously dangerous jump, claimed many, many victims. It is, yeah, right in the midst of that lot. It goes, well, it is a few, we're talking centimetres behind the 94 Covert. The Chevy T-Series still the furthest kind of roll from that jump, but it does mean that it beats the Euro semi-truck, the Moonhawk, Daytona, the Barstow 200BX Cup car. You know, it beats a decent number of vehicles. Not too disappointing from the Satsuma pickup truck. Kind of the damage to the axles made it so undrivable. It's very difficult to pick up speed on that. So that's, yeah, well, we can really get the speed to get the jump cleanly. We do have to go, though, all the way down towards the bottom to find the Miramar Hot Rod in 47th place, with a drive shaft failure. Curious one, we never saw a drive shaft fail on any of the other Miramars, but I think the way that the front end of that chassis kind of gets bent up because there's no real support from anywhere. With that gets bent up, and the angles, I think, is what snaps the drive shaft, which is why we haven't seen any of the other ones fail. I did actually, after filming stuff, go and have a couple of tries with the hot rod just to see if that was a fluke or not, and it almost all of them, it died on that jump with a drive shaft failure. It's just, yeah, it's such a big amount of airtime that as the car comes crashing down, it twists something that sees it die. It isn't last place. It does beat the convertible Malik in the T-Series, but Yeah, the weak drive shaft. Oh, they're a very, very cool vehicle. Brilliant for many things, not for this particular course. That, though, is going to be it for this video. As ever, I shall link all the mods I've used in the description so you can download them, have a go with them yourself. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.